Welcome. I've been doing a series on getting this stereo installed in my 1997 Land Cruiser, and in this video I'm going to work on actually installing it in the car. So I have previous videos on the wire harness and things like that, and I'll put a link in the description of my Land Cruiser playlist if you're interested in any of those. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these brackets off and install them on the new stereo. And if I look at this here, if I hold my screwdriver up here, I have about a centimeter gap here between the front if I hold it like that. So when I get it on here, I'll see if it's similar. And I may have to take these off and adjust them, or I don't know. This is my first time doing it, so you're following along with me. Okay, so I have the bracket off. It has these little things that kind of index off the radio here that the new one doesn't have. Okay, so I have this bracket on here. It doesn't look extremely even because of those little indexing notches. But I'm going to put it on both sides. I'm going to see how it fits in the car and then I'll adjust it later. I don't have these super tight because it'll squeeze this metal down and bend it. So if this works, I'll end up putting some washers in there or something. And you remember I held the screwdriver up here. Let's do the same here. And it's about a centimeter, maybe back just a little more. So now I'll go try this out in the car. Okay, I have this all tore apart, and I took out the, where did I put it? Oh, I didn't, it's right here. I unplugged all this stuff so I can take this out. So I can pull this whole thing out now. And I guess I'll do that. And then I'll put the radio in. I don't have anything to hold my camera, so I'm going to set the camera down and I'll put it in and we'll check the fit. Okay, I've got it part way in. It's kind of hung up here. This side, it's kind of hard to see in here. It's so dark. I had to kind of press it past this plastic here. And it looks like it's hung up on the bolt here too. I don't know if I need to get like a smaller head for the bolt. Looks like it. I don't know if it's hung up on that. Maybe hung up on this bolt too. So I'm going to wiggle this around more and see if I can get it to fit. And if I can't, I got to see what I'm going to do to make it fit. Okay, I'm having trouble getting this in, so I'm going to take it to my shop and examine it there. Okay, I'm down in my shop now. It seems like this side's not in the right location at all. So I'm gonna take some measurements here. From the left side we have, well, it's not screwed in, but about 3 inches. Yeah, that fits different on that side. So that's about 3 inches also. I'm going to put this back on this one and compare. About 3 inches. Oh, I think I had it on these upper holes. I'm going to try it on the lower holes here and see if that makes a difference. Although I don't think that will work. Need to look at one more measurement here, which is the bottom of the radio to the hole. So I have about 1.5 inches. So I'll put that on here. And 1.5 inches would put us right about there. So I'll try these holes. I think that looks better. I think I had that too high. I'm going to go try it now and see if I can get it to fit. Okay, that seemed to fix the problem. I'm going to pull this back out and I'll give you a better look at exactly where I put the screws. So now I'm going to see if this fits in here. Okay, so it looks like the left side fits in pretty good. The right side, I've got a little extra room and it's hitting the radio knob here, so I may need to shave that out or something. And the touchscreen's up quite a ways up there. So that's kind of an issue too. I really need the whole thing to be moved down a little bit. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do there. I'm not sure. I may need to order some kind of a universal kit to move this down, because I really don't want to I mean, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can get a light in there. You can kind of see up there where it's lining up. So it's a pretty good gap. So I need to move this down because I actually could hide this part. I really don't need to see those words. So I'm gonna look and see what I can do to move this down, and then I'll come back to the video when I figure it out. Okay, so I brought this inside so I could work on it a little bit easier. And I've got this here, and the way it was sitting in the hole here, it was not lined up very well. It was kind of off, but I found on the back here, this fits in this slot here very nicely. One problem is the knob's kind of off to the left, but that's as good as it can fit right there like that, because the plastic on the backside determines that. And I can still turn the knob, but it is touching the side here. So I think what I'm going to do is remove the burl. Hopefully I can get that off. And then I'm going to just figure out how to attach this here, because this is a heavy radio, the old one. This thing's super light, for the relatively speaking. So I may tape or glue or strap this in here somehow. I'm going to figure that out. So first thing I'm going to do is remove that burl, and I'll take these brackets off too. And I'll come back when I have something I can share with you. Okay, I'm going to use a heat gun to try and remove this burl, and I have a putty knife here to hopefully pull that away. Okay, that was hot. I melted it a little bit right here, but it looks okay. I melted the case. I'll use a little bit of, I'll just use my thumb and scrape it off, I guess. There's a little bit of adhesive still left on here. That's super hot. That plastic really got hot. You got to keep that heat gun moving. I could have also just used some acetone and dripped it in there and probably softened up the adhesive, but that could also melt this metal or plastic. I'm going to clean this here with some denatured alcohol because that should be safe. And we'll see if that works. It's dissolving the adhesive slowly, it looks like. Okay, so now that we have the trim piece off, and that's actually still in good shape, although, well, I mean, it's not, it's worn, but. So now we'll try and fit this in here again, see what it looks like. It's a little bit loose. It almost wants to fit through that opening. The trim was actually kind of holding it in place just ever so slightly. So if it's slid over to the right, then I can turn this knob. Although it has a remote control, I may want to use that anyway, because it might be easier. So next I need to figure out how to affix this to the back. So I'm going to pause the video here and I'll come back when I figure that out. Okay, I want to go to a little update here. So when I was putting this in, it wasn't centered in this hole very well. So I put some of this tape. It's a nylon drawer slide tape. I'll put a link in the description of this if I can find it on Amazon. And I put that here. And this is super slippery tape. I don't know if it'll come off easily. You could probably use acetone to take it off. And I may have to cut it down, but I think leaving it up is working. And I may put another strip here. I do have a little part here where the knob, when I turn it, hits. So I just am going to take a Dremel here and just put a little tiny notch in there. Okay, so I have that little notch here. I'll see if I can get this in here. Okay, I probably could put the notch a little bit lower. There we go. I don't know if you saw that, but it was sticking up high, so it was over this ledge. So I may put some of this tape on the top too, so it centers it a little bit better. But now I've got a little room for that knob to turn. Okay, so I'll put some tape on the other side and then I'll come back and give you an update. Here's a little bit better look at this tape. You can see how thick it is, and it's a translucent plastic. And now with that on there, this should fit a little more snug. it's getting kind of hung up on the top of this tape, so I'm going to use my razor knife and I'll just slice this so it's not sticking up as high. I'll keep that piece in case I need some more. Okay, now it doesn't stick up past the ledge. I can stick this radio in here now. Okay, now I have a pretty tight fit top to bottom now. You can still open the USB port here. Although that might be in the way, I might have to just trim that off. There's a little black here. I may put some tape. Oh, there we go. I didn't have it centered. If there's a little black here, I may put some electrical tape back there just to kind of create a shadow of it. You can see on the back here how it lines up. So now I just have to figure out how I'm going to put this in here. Okay, so I've glued around about this far. I can't get over here very easy. I'm unable to get this button out because the trim piece here is blocking it. So I may just try that. I may try and get a little more glue down in here. And then on this side, I'm probably going to just use some electrical tape to hide the gap. Just so there's a black background, you can't see behind it. And I think that's pretty secure. So I've had an idea. I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I have some screws here. I could take, like this screw, I could take a wire here and run it across to here. So I'd start it here and run it here, and then when I put this back up, I'd pull on it and then tighten that down to create like kind of a cross brace in case the glue failed. But I may just leave it as is. I think this is going to hold, and I'm not planning on going on a super long trip with this thing where this will be flopping for hours on end. So I may try that. But so that's it for. So I may put some more glue on, then I'll go get this hooked back in the vehicle and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so I got everything plugged back in here and I popped it in place, and I put these two screws in and these two screws. So now I can insert this back in there and I can stick this back in here and we're all ready to go. And if I turn this up, we'll hear static. So I'll test all the speakers and make sure everything's good there. Another thing, I don't think I mentioned this before, but this has a factory amp, and I needed to unplug it, and it's back here. There's these two cables, so you remove the glove box, or you swing it down. The glove box has these little, let's see if I can get a better view of this. The glove box has these connectors, and these slide in, and then it has these caps that go in here. Ugh. It's kind of hard to show one-handed. So these caps slide in here, so you press on the back side and pop these little caps out, then you press on these tabs here and pop this whole thing out, and you can get that glove box out. So when you do that, you disconnect that amp, so it's not a part of the system. So let me get that off there. So I have this in. This has a backup camera capability, and I'll make a future video about that, hopefully, when I get around to doing that, because that's going to be a project in and of itself to get that in there. One thing I noticed when I'm in the driver's position here, I don't know if I can show it. I can't really see the top of this here. So, but there's not a lot up there. There's like Bluetooth in a house. That's your home screen. So I mean, once you know where that's at, you can still use it. And I'm not a person that's going to be tinkering with this a lot when I'm driving. I'm just going to, turn it on and use it. And the main reason I wanted this is so I could put a USB stick in or something and listen to MP3s. So I don't know if I can stick one in here. It also has the micro SD slot, so I probably will get a micro SD. Then I won't even need to use this USB port here, although I could use that for charging, and I may do that. So that's all for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.